Hey, welders, ready to upgrade your gear and save some serious dough in the process? The Miller Build with Blue Savings and Rebate Program has you covered. Find amazing deals and cashback rebates on a wide range of Miller products, from welders to plasma cutters and everything in between, all backed by our 3-year warranty. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Take advantage of the Miller Build with Blue program now. Visit us online or stop by your nearest Miller distributor today to start saving.
Welcome to another episode of the Strange Motion Way podcast. I am your hostess with the mostest, Carrie Strange.
I am the other host, Tim Strange, and little Axel is currently chasing a fly right now behind us. So
shit crazy Axel.
Yeah, he's a little nuts.
Yeah. So, we are going to do a recap again. So those have been pretty popular.
Mm-hmm.
So the last event that we went to was the SEMA Show. Behind the scenes of SEMA with Tim and Carrie.
And we both kind of have a different experience at SEMA than a lot of people do. In our experience, it's totally different from each other.
Completely.
So he's standing up on his back legs like a meerkat right now.
Yeah.
I went in, well, I had to fly home.
Yep.
You flew out. I had to fly to Illinois. My best friend, Greg Bloomberg, his dad passed away. So he was like a second dad growing up. So I took a detour through lovely Chicago and drove to Farmerville, USA. Illinois. And went to Woodhull, did a visitation and funeral, and then
I took all your luggage. That was nice of me.
Well, I had a carry-on for my stuff.
But I went to the airport at the crack of dawn
and brought yours home.
And I had to park in the parking garage because there was a line at the luggage thing, which I thought I was going to be able to do curbside. And getting, what did I have? 156 pounds of luggage to the airport by myself sucked. So, but that was good.
So I did that and then flew to Vegas Friday night late. Mm-hmm. You're already there working that day.
Yep. So I flew in on Friday, the Friday before SEMA, this was the first time that we didn't do. Sorry, we don't have an earthquake happening right now. It's the cat chasing a fly. You need to get down. Come on.
What was the first time we didn't?
So this was the first.
We didn't take a car.
Well, it was Halloween. We didn't get to spend Halloween in Vegas this year, which was very odd.
We planned to go to our friends dressed up, but then I had to go back to Illinois, so I was in Illinois at my dad's for Halloween.
And I didn't even really plan any costumes. Like, we didn't do anything.
I got to see, what is he? My niece's kid. So what's that make Sterling?
Sterling is your second nephew?
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
My niece's kid.
Yeah.
He was dressed up as a donkey, so forever he's just going to be called Donkey, like from the Shrek movies. He's Donkey to me from here on out.
I worked around the house all day. I didn't do anything. I said I was going to be in my recliner. I don't even remember. I worked. I don't know. I don't even remember what I did.
So why do you have to go out so early?
So I flew out at the ass crack of dawn on Friday, and we run Optima Unleashed in the bronze lot, and then we run our finals for our Ultimate Streetcar.
Which is this?
OUSCI, Search for the Ultimate Streetcar. So I went out. I normally always fly out on Friday. I like to get there, get myself grounded, get myself accumulated to the whole situation before everything gets crazy.
Which for some people, you had a coworker, Adam, that had already been there.
Well,
since
this
Monday
year was a little different.
Monday?
So 3 or 4 of the guys were already there. They flew in on Tuesday, set up, prepping, moving in rigs, moving K-wall. They did all kinds of stuff. But and then Adam, because of being Halloween and the opportunity to do Halloween with his family, he flew back home on Wednesday night, flew back out Friday morning with me. So that was his choice to do that, but it gave him the opportunity to spend Halloween at home with his kids, which nobody gets to do very often when we're SEMA people. But so yeah, we do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday is all set up and prep. We move our cars in on Monday. We do battery install for Optima Saturday and Sunday.
While you're doing that, you're working. I'm enjoying the drag races.
Well, you flew in on Friday night late. Your flight was delayed, so I was a wonderful wife, even though I had been up since 3:30 in the morning Central Time. I still stayed up and went and picked you up at the airport at like 10 o'clock at night. I did the smart wife thing this time, and I went to Target and walked around instead of staying in my hotel room
because you would have fell asleep.
Because I would have fell asleep, and I knew that. So I opted to do the good thing.
Which in the past, Carrie has done that. She did that to me in Boston one time. Left me at the airport all night. She fell asleep. She was out there earlier than me.
Yeah.
But at least this time, if you would have fell asleep, I knew where you were staying.
That is true. That is true. Yeah. So Saturday and Sunday is battery install. So we spend pretty much all day long installing batteries and doing sponsorship stuff and which is good. I get to see all the feature vehicles as they come through the feature vehicle lot, so saves my legs a lot of walking, even though I still walk about 20,000 miles a day or 20,000 steps. And then Saturday afternoon was cool. Went out to the drag strip. You were already out there. You Ubered out and got to
qualifying was on a big delay, an hour and a half, so you got to see half of the last round of Top Fuel and Funny Car and a little bit of Pro Mod before we went to dinner.
Yep.
And then me and my buddy Bert Casper went and spent all day Sunday at the drag races, and they didn't finish the finals or semifinals because they had another big oil down, and it was cold, so they pushed it off till Monday.
Yeah.
And I couldn't go back on Monday.
No. Because what do you do on Monday?
This is my 21st year. I am a new products judge.
What does that mean?
We go in Monday before the show opens. There's new products that people have to sign up and get in there. I can't speak loud enough. By a certain time, we start judging at about 12 o'clock, and there's still people checking in their stuff.
So those of you sitting in the back of the room,
we can't judge the stuff that's not there by 11 o'clock.
There's deadlines for a reason.
There was some good products that we looked at, and it wasn't on our computer listing, which means it wasn't in before the deadline to be judged. So some of you maybe had a great product that we did look at. There's almost 30 judges. There's
different categories.
I don't know what there is. There used to be 7 categories. There's hot rod. There's racing and performance. There's best engineered. There's off-road. There's tools. There's auto body equipment. There is even packaging on the best packaging and counter displays. So they judge all kinds of stuff. It's really cool. You get to know the other judges.
Do companies pay for that, or is that just something because
I think if you're a displaying member, you get one product for free in one category, and it's like another 20-some bucks. You can list, you have this, and it might be eligible for, it's got a good package, and then it's engineered. It's something really cool that is up for best engineering, or be a racing performance. You can put it in multiple, and a lot of companies, they don't quite understand that. It just costs a little bit more money, but for the exposure that you get, ideally, that I've been doing this, if you're in 3 categories, bring 3 pieces and put it in there 3 times, because each category is in a section, either on the tables or in the glass cases. They're labeled hot rod, racing performance, auto body, or whatever, tools and equipment. So then the judges don't have to walk everywhere too. But then you're getting triple the exposure of people.
And you never want to assume anything. So when you put your products in new products, you want, remember, all those books that they have is Acrobats for Dummies or whatever for dummies.
They need
judges, new products for dummies. Put all the information there.
You're limited on the piece of paper that you can put there. But some of the companies have been doing this for a long time. You can have a video playing. Some people had mounted down so people wouldn't steal it, or it's in the cabinet. It was playing the video just explaining their product.
That's a good idea.
And that's very helpful. Because some of the stuff, you look at it, it's like, oh, yeah, this is the new tape or whatever it is. But if it's something that maybe it's the first thing ever on a product, ever on the market that you need info. We've had stuff before that, like, well, we don't know enough about this. So we don't, because they gave you like 4 sentences on the whatever, and it's just sitting there, and it's like, well, it's a new product, so we can't Google it.
And just for the record, there is a group of judges. It's not pay Tim $20 or because I like Tim.
I'm not going to tell you what category we judge.
No. So it's a group of judges that all judge this, and just because Tim likes something or doesn't like something doesn't automatically mean that it wins.
And sometimes the judges will jump categories. Like somebody might judge auto body and equipment one year. The next year they might be judging packaging or wheel and tire or something like that. So, yeah, you do kind of not always do the same thing. So I'm not going to say what category.
But if you want any suggestions, reach out to him. You know, he might be able to help you.
The biggest thing is use all the information you're allowed. And if you're seriously, some of the stuff, they're just displaying it because I think some of these people
realize that they're getting double the exposure.
Yeah, maybe they don't think, oh, this isn't going to win, but hey, we're going to have our whatever on display, not only in our booth, but it's over in the new products too. Right. SEMA is so big.
Well, and that's the thing is some people can't, like, you can't get, very rarely can you make it to every booth because the show is so big. So there might be people that just do the South Hall and they see new products. So they may not even walk by your booth, but they see your product because it's in the new product.
I make a list because SEMA is so big.
Yeah.
I had somebody ask me about PRI, which PRI is great. It's coming up. And somebody, a hot rod buddy, he's never been to SEMA. He goes, so is it really getting smaller? Who told you this? It is so big. I make a list in my phone. I never made it in the West Hall, other than the art thing on setup day to go buy some stuff, where off-road and detailing equipment is. I never made it in that whole building. I never made it in the lower level of whatever that building is that's 2 levels of the tire and wheel stuff and some of the equipment that's there. I never made it in there. I only made it through half of the upstairs South Hall, you say. Been going 20-some years, and I can't remember which hall is which. Because I just go, like, oh, I got to go talk to this paint company, this tool guy, this whatever. A couple of my companies weren't there this year. I make a list. But then I mostly make it through, well, I guess I only made it through half of what I call the stereo building, where the stereo and sound equipment and some of that is, because I have certain people I work with, go see my guys at Kicker. And then the other stuff, I pretty much make it through most of the hot rod alley and the performance and the racing stuff, because that's most of the stuff that I deal with, the performance stuff. So it's great, because you can do that at SEMA. Just make a plan. And again, I never made it through half of SEMA, I would say, again.
So this is year 2 that I never stepped inside the halls at SEMA.
Yeah.
I never walked out front at SEMA, and I still averaged 20 to 22,000 steps a day. I was lucky enough to get to see the feature vehicles as they came through the feature vehicle lot, battery install. But I never stepped foot inside a hall at SEMA this year.
Yeah, and SEMA opens Tuesday. I get up and go. Before the SEMA show opens at 7 o'clock, I'm over at a banquet at the West Gate.
I never even went to a banquet this year.
I did hear that the West Gate is going to be like under construction next year, and some of the stuff that happens at West Gate allegedly might be moving to a different hotel.
Interesting.
Out by the West Hall. They're trying to move more stuff over to be the West Hall in front.
I can see that. Yeah. And they had some out in front of the North Hall was under construction this year. So there wasn't as many feature vehicles.
There was some escalators closed and some hallways closed.
Yep.
But I get up and I go to the breakfast. That's when the people, they get a call. Hey, you're one of the finalists. You might want to make sure somebody's at the banquet. They don't know who's winning, but they usually put the people up towards, because it's a big room, towards the front so they don't have to walk.
Who is the speaker this year?
Yeah. Well, Jared DeAnda is the MC of the event. He is the voice.
Formula Drift?
He calls himself online the voice of SEMA, but he does a lot of the banquets that we don't go to. But he's the voice of Formula Drift, and he is excellent. He is an excellent MC. His voice, his personality, his humor. I never really understood it. I've seen him at SEMA until I went to a Formula Drift event with Royal Purple, and he's great. He does a great job. he's like that, like Lone Brian Loans is for the NHRA, just a great announcer. But this year, one guy, I apologize, I do not know him, has a huge social media presence and YouTube channel that does has bought like wrecked supercars and he's redoing supercars. But he was there with Jay Leno.
Oh,
so the
cool.
opening speaker was Jay Leno and this other guy, and it's just nice little conversation. And
That sucks. I missed that.
yeah, you didn't even know that? Yeah, it was Jay Leno, so it was great. He's been the
Did you guys
opening
get
breakfast
to get your
before.
picture taken with Jay?
No,
Oh,
we did not. The judges usually get a picture
that sucks.
taken.
Yeah.
Marcy, sorry Marcy, if you're listening to this, this is only her second year doing it, and she never really knew that, hey, you get the picture lined up for the judges after the fact, so that'd been
That's
cool.
a bummer. Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah, through the
They
years
always
I've got
normally
to have.
at Christmas they mail you that picture.
Yeah, I've got group picture with Magnus Walker before and Jack Roush. And
Tanner Faust last year.
We didn't do a picture last year.
You didn't?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I thought we
Because
got
that
one
was
at
Marcy's
Christmas.
first year, and now she's moving
Marcy.
on to another category. She's got a raise or.
All right, so whoever takes over Marcy's place, make sure they do the group picture. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Makes
For
it
the
nice
judges,
for the judges.
that volunteer their time.
Yeah.
Volunteer. They're not paid.
Yeah.
It's a
They
volunteer.
feed us lunch to bribe us to get there early so they can talk about what's going on. And then SEMA Show opens on Tuesday.
Mhm.
I had a couple meetings with some of our sponsors at Royal Purple. And my first meeting was with Miller Welders. Well, welcome back to them. Continuing on. We're not in our season 2 yet, but we're not far from starting the next year.
Mhm.
They're back on as sponsors, both of them. So welcome back, Miller Welders and Royal Purple Oil.
So just if some of you are watching this that aren't familiar with SEMA, it's a trade show. So it is technically not
You
open.
sure it's not a car show? Because they do that Battle of the Builders, and they have that TV program,
no.
Carrie. You sure it's not a car show?
It's a trade show. So it is not open.
Can I load up my car and just take it and say I'm entering my car at the SEMA show?
No. You have to be. You have to go through a company.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have
It's
a
a
booth.
whole thing.
It is.
You don't have to have a booth, but the company has to have a booth that can get you into
Jen
SEMA Show.
Jen from Paint House and I were talking today. She was explaining to me how she felt SEMA was a lot different this year, and I tried to ask her to explain that to me. Because I didn't get outside of our area, but it is a trade show. And it was last year she was saying that wives had to submit their marriage certificate in order to get a badge as a spouse. So it is a trade show. Regardless of what everybody thinks, they do some things to the general public, but the majority of it is trade only. So you have to sign up ahead of time. You can do it there, but you got to have all your paperwork and be approved ahead of time.
You don't really have to have a SEMA membership, do you?
I don't.
You have to be in the industry,
know.
which that can be anything from, hey, I run a chassis shop, I'm a custom painter, or I run a body shop. I'm an oil change guy at the 15-minute oil change. You can probably get into SEMA if you show somehow, like PRI used to be really rough. You had to show a pay stub or something. But.
Yeah, pay stub and a business card or something. But it is a trade show. I don't know. Since I've been working with Optima, I go through the vendor side of it, so I don't really have to deal with the attendee.
And being a judge,
badges.
they do get my pass.
Right. So we haven't had to do that for a while. But so it is a trade show. Actually last year they tried cracking down on outside, because I know Zizzo's used to fly out.
Yeah.
And Diane would go, gambling, and the boys would come over and walk around outside. And I know last year in our area, they were trying to really crack down on badges outside. So I don't know. Each year it seems to be a little bit different. But anyway, so Tuesday is opening day. You had some meetings, did some things. We did kicked off our Optima Unleashed, which we had drifting pretty much all day and exhibition things going on in the bronze lot. Which,
with Carrie's connections, I got to do a ride along, which he was doing it all week.
Yeah.
But 3 people in the car. I got to ride with Tanner Faust. I rode with Chris Pavardi before, and his drift taxi. It's a Volkswagen with an LS7, and he just pins it and rings it. And
incredible.
I can't say enough things. I've been around a lot of famous car people type of things. TV guys, I know all these guys, but as there's drivers and stuff, I can't say enough about Tanner Faust. Optima sponsors him, and they have him at a lot of events. We were there. We didn't know it was him. He did the world record jump in the infield of the Indy 500. That was like the big Hot Wheels car. That was Tanner.
Seriously?
That was him. That came down the Hot Wheels track. And
Oh,
that was
I
Tanner
didn't
Faust.
realize that was him.
He's been on Top Gear.
Yeah.
He's done Nitro Cross.
I didn't realize he did that
He's
jump.
run Pikes Peak. But as I see when I host events and have to deal with some of these people, he's always on time. He's always friendly. He's always professional. He's got a smile on his face.
Mm-hmm.
He's great with the fans. He's just like, if somebody has a company who's looking for a spokesperson, man, I don't think you can go wrong with Tanner Faust.
No,
and
he's
Chris
great.
Pavardi. They're just both
Chris
great.
is awesome.
Yeah.
Chris is my favorite. They're both awesome people. Good brand ambassadors.
Yeah, great brand ambassador.
But yeah, so you got to do a ride along with Tanner.
Yeah, I didn't pee myself in the car. I didn't
you
throw
didn't
up.
puke. No, that was good. So that was on Tuesday, and then you went back to the hotel and got cleaned up and ready to go and dressed up for your banquet. You hosted the
Armo banquet, which is the restoration segment of SEMA. SEMA has many segments: tire and wheel, all this stuff, tools, and all kinds of stuff, and hot rod
Can
stuff.
you sit on your hands and still talk? Just checking. Your hands are moving more than anything else. You can't. See, you can't
Can
talk.
I continue?
Yes.
And so the Armo restoration banquet, people think the hot rod guys are the crazy people. It's the restoration people. They dress up. There's always a theme. It's in the big room now. And this year it was, all I got was the memo that it was 80s.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be movies from the 80s.
Oh.
So Marcy dressed up as Madonna from, what was the Madonna movie? Then we had Blues Brothers people. We
Like
had
a virgin?
Yeah, it was her. Yeah, that one. But there was a movie. Anyway. So I
don't know if I can get this.
didn't get the movie part. So I dressed up in a neon tracksuit
You
and
gotta see it.
a kind of an afro wig and a headband. I was Richard Simmons before he started working out. That was my 80s costume.
It was.
And
so
I'm
great.
on the
They
stage,
sent me
with
this
a
picture, and it was so
18-page
great.
script of all these industry awards for the restoration market. And I walk out and everybody starts laughing because
Big guy.
They didn't
in a
really
pink suit.
expect the MC of the whole banquet reception to be in the costume. Von Hot Rod texted me a picture of myself, and Kevin Tate says, "Oh, I can't unsee this." So
I thought it was sexy.
It was great, very comfortable. It's like we're in pajamas.
So
I
we
understand
were
tracksuits.
Tuesday night. Why?
So I did that. You had to move this year. You guys had to work way hard because
it was industry night.
There was
Oh, okay.
3 bands at the
Mhm.
edge of your racing parking lot, so you guys had to condense your K-wall down.
Well, actually, it was set up for the small event first.
Okay.
For Tuesday night. So, but Tuesday night during industry night, we had exhibition stuff going on. So what they would do is, our setup is here, and okay, so this is our setup, and then down here is the concert area. So our rigs and stuff are here, and this was our track. And then, so the concerts would be going on, and then in between the bands, we would have drift exhibition stuff going on. So then people could just turn around, and instead of getting bored and leaving, they got to watch drifting while they're waiting for the switch out of the bands. So
Which I
that's
remember
why.
all the bands. I got there for the last band, which was the Goo Goo Dolls, and you were still working in the trailer. And I went down with Cool Hand Customs people and their customer instead and watched the Goo Goo Dolls. They were very good. Sound was great. Stage was great. Kind of forget how many good songs the Goo Goo Dolls had. They had some great songs. So
So that was really, that's why. Okay, so Betsy and I we were waiting for the epic Tim to come walking in his 80s outfit.
I'd taken my costume
and he had
off.
taken it off.
Yeah.
We were pretty let down.
Well, I thought I was going to walk because you can't go through SEMA now because the SEMA show's closed at that time.
Right.
So you had to walk clear out on Paradise. I thought I was going to be walking by myself, but
you
then
couldn't go up and over. That's how I got there last year.
There's a lot of those that were closed. A lot of those things were closed.
Yeah, I got it.
So we walked. They ended up going with me because I didn't want to walk on the streets in Vegas with my fat Richard Simmons outfit on, because somebody might have thought that I was a male streetwalker or something. But then again, I might have made some money. I don't know. I mean, $20 is $20, right?
Whatever it takes.
Yeah. So then I go over to see you. We thought, as SEMA goes, oh yeah, I can go. Carrie can't go. She's still working until like 9:00. And I was
tired.
So I watched most of the Goo Goo Dolls and then walked back. And then did we go do something that
So
night?
I went back to the hotel, and then you actually, for the first time I think in your entire life, left the concert before it was over because it was so cold.
I had to walk around the building, so I heard most of it.
Yeah, but it was
and then I
really
went,
cold. You went to Tucci's.
Tucci's had a house party that night and tacos, and Carrie missed tacos at Tucci's.
No, wait, nobody told me it was tacos.
I didn't know until I got there. They had
Dave.
They had.
I hadn't even heard from Dave.
Chipotle. They had enough to fill this table that after everybody was eating, they had
I never
Chipotle.
even heard from Dave, Dom, Jill, nobody all week long.
They just said, "Come over for a party."
I didn't get that memo. Anyway, I was exhausted, so I went back to the hotel. I think I did order
You had something
Cafe
delivered.
Rio delivered that night. I was dead. I couldn't function. So I went to bed. And then you went to their party and then came back. And then Wednesday morning,
I was like, when I say I went to a party, I was back to the room by 11. I was beat.
Yeah, I was out.
You walk all day at SEMA. It's exhausting.
It is exhausting.
It's harder on your body than working all day in the shop. I don't know what it is. So then Wednesday, I get up
you
again.
went to another banquet.
Opening breakfast, which is just like muffins, donuts, coffee.
But you're not there for the food. You're there for...
Yeah, the NHRA breakfast. Yeah. I love it. I've missed it one year because I was tired and I regret it. So I go every year. It's hosted by Brian Loans. Brian Loans is getting to be a guest here soon on the podcast. And this year it was on Shoulders of Giants because they were talking about crew people and stuff. So it was Ron Capps, Jim Oberhofer, the crew chief. Ron Capps is a driver. Tony Schumacher, the most winningest driver in NHRA history. I don't forget how many Top Fuel titles he's got, a handful, 4 titles or something. And then current, or it wasn't at that time, but now current funny car champion, Austin Prock. So they interviewed them. It's great story. It's always great stories and makes you laugh. It's entertaining. And then they had a surprise guest, and it was Big Daddy Don Garlitz comes out. They put him right in the middle. So he comes out, and he's got his phone out. And everybody's on my table. He's like, you just sit down with random people at a table, and you meet people. You're not there by myself. And I was like, he's on stage. It's like, come on, Big Daddy, put your phone away. Well, he is pretty much deaf now. So whenever Loans was asking a question, he would hold the phone closer to Loans, and it would put the words down. He would read, and then he would answer. And his memory, oh my God, just like ridiculous, his memory. So then I met him. He was later in the week, he was in the Quarter Mile Foundation booth. They always have great guests there. And he was signing his book. So I got his book signed. I got one of the last books that they had on Thursday night. And I wanted to talk, and they're like, just talk into his iPad. And then I told him, I grew up, going to Cordova. He goes, I set a record there. And I go, 1957. He goes, how do you remember that? I go, because 7th grade, I did a book report on a book about him. He knew the name of the book that would have been released about that time. And it was great, that booth, one of the ladies that run it is Tracy Hredka. You know your automotive history. Her husband he's still alive. Joe Hredka, that was the Mr. Gasket guy that owned Mr. Gasket. And he had the famous white 33 Willys that little John Ventura built. So that Tracy Hredka. So it's pretty cool. Even the people running the booth and selling the merch are pretty in-depth in the hot rod world. Cool. So that was cool. So yeah, then Wednesday, I had just kind of wandered and seen people and come out to see you at lunch. And you guys are, in the mornings, you guys do, what do you do?
So we started on, Wednesday was our first OUSCI, well, technically our second, because we did tech on Monday and registration, and then Tuesday we did D&E, got all D&E done.
Explain quickly what D&E is.
Design and engineering. So it's like car show. Like you got judges We have 3 judges.
Carrie suckered me into being a D&E judge one year, and it takes up half your SEMA because you got to be there to judge.
Well, this year we got it all done on Tuesday. Our judges rocked this year.
So they get
absolutely awesome.
3 or 4 minutes to explain the car.
I think it's 4 minutes.
But then the judges have this thing, and they judge it. There's like 3 judges, right? 3 or 4 judges?
3.
And there's all these categories on. This is the only racing series in the world that does this.
It's the favorite. Everybody loves it.
No, they don't. A shiny paint job brings you more points. You got to have it's street car, right? So you got to have a glass windshield. You got to have wipers, backup lights, a horn, all that stuff, stereo. Even if it's a Bluetooth speaker, you got all these little checkpoints. And sometimes the winner of that event has been less than a point. I mean, that's out. So you got to have your stuff together. That's what makes that series is neat. And some of these cars I have seen 1,000 times, maybe not 1,000 times, at Good Guys Autocrosses. But when I went and heard their speed, I was like,
I heard their stuff.
I was like, I didn't know about that. I didn't know that modification was, or I didn't know that had a 20% engine setback. I mean, it was cool, but I can't do that. It takes up too much SEMA time. But
yeah. So Tuesday all day we did D&E. So then Wednesday was our first OUSCI competition. We did our speed stop, so our peak performance challenge technically, all morning. So from 9 to 12, that was our first opportunity for our drivers to get out on course. We had, and then again, because Tuesday night was the industry night, after we got done Tuesday night, they moved our K-wall. So we went from our course like this big to now our course is this big. So then we split some staff up and had to have some staff.
It's a big chunk of property over there. I mean, it's bigger than any Good Guys Autocross has.
Oh, for sure.
Double. By double.
But we had to have staff come in like at 4 or 5 in the morning to hang banners on the K-wall that they moved the night before to get ready for competition on Friday or on Wednesday. And then we went up till noon, and then Wednesday afternoon we did back to exhibition stuff again. We had several of our exhibition drivers doing a autograph signing, so we had that going on. We had our big Megatron stage set up doing giveaways. We did get smart this year, and on the Optima O bags, the backpacks that we went through like ridiculous amount last year in the first 2 days because everybody was just coming up and grabbing 4 or 5 of them at a time. We had to scan their badge, and that's how they got one. So
those are great marketing. I've seen them at the airport too.
Yeah, they were everywhere, and it's great because it's a backpack and you see the big O on the back. So that was good. Kudos to Cam and whoever else came up with that idea last year. That was great. So that was Wednesday, and then
Wednesday evening you're still working.
I know Wednesday.
So I go to the HRIA banquet reception. Yeah. That's the hot rod industry.
Yeah, because we do our championship announcement at 5:00 that night, and we announced our championship for the series. And then after that, we give our swag away, which Optima does some pretty phenomenal swag for the competitors that come out and race. They got sweatshirts and goodie backpacks and cleaning supply packs. Something else. I don't know. There's a lot of really cool swag. So that's what we did while you were at the Hot Rod Industry Banquet.
Which in years past, I was the main host, like I am at the Armo Banquet. I was the main host. Yeah, last couple of years, I got fired from it or bumped or whatever. But Kevin Ostie does a good job. But Good Guys, they let me do that since I do a lot of Good Guys announcing, and I am a past trendsetter recipient. So
you liven it up a little bit.
I do. Damon Lee, the editor of Good Guys, writes the script that kind of, somebody didn't know that like the scripts have to be approved by a SEMA person. That's why all those scripts have to be, and there's always a SEMA handler.
So does the script for the people winning the awards have to be approved?
No.
Oh, I was going to say, that's probably a Tim Strange rule from when we won Trendsetter.
But this year I did find out they let the Trendsetter know this year ahead of time, like in September, I think they let him know, or even before that. One, because not everybody goes to every banquet. You want to make sure the person's there. And this year they have changed it. It's one of the terrific 12. So the people need to plan on getting a car to Scottsdale where they park all the Street Rod of the Year, Street Machine of the Year, and everything out in front of the building. And I think, I'm not 100% sure, I think they get the tool, a
We'll
Snap-on
find out.
toolbox wrapped. We'll find out in a
this
few
weekend.
days.
Yeah,
Um,
that's cool.
Tyler Nelson from Revision Rides. Revision Rides. I always confuse his name with a couple other names, but Revision Rides out of, where is he from? Is he from
Nebraska?
Nebraska or
Yeah.
Wyoming? Nebraska.
So
a lot
who
of great
else won
cars.
awards in the hot rod industry?
Oh, there was a
advanced plating. Was
NSRA gives like a
person,
and it's always like the good guys is always a younger award recipient. Our trophy says something about vision, something back there, but it's usually, it used to be always somebody like barely 30,
up and coming.
but not, yeah, but done a lot of stuff. It's not for one car, it's your career, and they see great promise. Well, Tyler has already had cars in the grade 8, and he won the NSRA Elite Builder of the Year this year, and Truck of the Year, good guys before. He's got a great career already, and he's only been running his shop since 2018. And he worked for another well-known shop before, and so yeah, he hasn't been in business that many years, and that's kind of what the Trendsetter is about. So the NSRA award was awarded to Pete and Jake's for their 50th anniversary.
Oh, okay.
So that was awesome.
Business of the year.
Business of the year
was
advanced
advanced plating.
plating. HRIA Hall of Fame inductee John McLeod from Classic Instruments. HRIA does a, what do they call it? Person of the Year, Individual of the Year, something like that. That's doing good stuff in the industry stuff. Last year it was Jonathan Goolsby. This year it was Bobby Alloway. Cool. Very deserving, with him and Gary Case putting on the Triple Crown. Bobby was not there. They said he was either at the airport or flew and had to go straight back. Mother-in-law, I believe, Cindy's mom, something happened there, so he went home and skipped SEMA to be with the family. And Rick Love got up and gave his speech for him. They did call Bobby to let him know, hey, man, you're getting this award. I'm not coming. I'm not making it on a later flight. They let him know. So he told Rick some things that he wanted to make sure was said and thank people. So Rick did a great job of standing in as Bobby Alloway. I don't know which one's better looking. They're both good looking dudes, right?
Camera's up there.
Oh, I'm asking you. I was looking at your.
Oh.
I was looking at your
You've been
reaction.
looking at me the whole time. They keep seeing your bill of your hat.
Nobody watches on YouTube. They all listen to it.
Okay.
And so yeah, that was a pretty good night. I think there was one other award in there that I'm missing, isn't there?
I feel like there is.
Okay. 3 HRA. Oh, they give starting last year, the year before, HRIA does major awards.
Major awards?
Yeah.
Like a major award?
Like a leg lamp.
Like a leg
it's
lamp?
not really a leg lamp. It's this really cool billet award. So one is, I forget the names of it. One's like engineering and something like that. And then one is like HRA, like almost what they think the best car of the show is.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Crap. Which one won the one?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
The last one was won by Dutch Boys and Angelo Vespi's Twin Turbo Grand National. I think it's one of the best debuted cars at the SEMA Show. It's a lot of great cars like the Kindig, Riddler winner and stuff that we'd seen all year. But one of the best debuted cars. It also won another award that we'll get to. Man, I'm just gonna look online.
Look on the Google.
I'm gonna get on the.
All right. So once we got finished up, I went back to the hotel, and the Hemmings party was Wednesday night. So I laid down on the bed for a few minutes, and I went, nope, I got to get up. Jeff Teal had invited us to come over to that, and we were there last year, and I didn't get to have tacos, and I was told.
HRA people do a really piss poor job with their Instagram.
Yeah.
There's been one post since 2023.
What? There's got to be.
But it was Randy from the Paint House.
There's got to be another page. Maybe their page got hacked.
Maybe.
So anyway, I called Tim, or I texted him, and I said, hey, let me know when you're going to be done. I'll come pick you up. So I picked him up, and he said, I got a surprise for you. And 3 men get in my car. And I got to see Uncle Jason Rushforth, and I have not seen Jason for
few years.
Several years. So that was cool to get to see him. And then we went over to the Hemmings party at, where was it at?
Sosa Metalworks.
Yes.
Very cool.
Super cool place. It was cold.
They had a band. They had a taco truck.
The tacos, phenomenal. They were very good. Wished I would have ordered more because I'm still hungry after. But very good. Super cool vans. Did I mention that it was cold? It was freezing. Vegas turned the air conditioning on for us that week. So I found the only place that I could that had some carpet, and I stood on the carpet because my feet were killing me, my back was killing me, and it was inside, but it was super loud.
I got to see.
I'm getting old.
I got to see a lot of friends that I didn't see at SEMA. I hugged a few dudes that night.
Yeah, we were.
Talked to a couple other people about being on the podcast.
I think that we left and we did go through the drive-through at Chick-fil-A.
I needed a milkshake.
We were hungry still, and then I think we were still in bed by 10 o'clock. But that was super cool. I'm glad that we.
I feel really bad that I can't remember that other HRIA award, and it is not. HRIA people. They have terrible.
You want me to look on the Facebook because Tim doesn't have Facebook yet because his got hacked. So HRIA.
But yeah, the Sosa Metalworks shop, it's like the coolest shop. It's like seriously like a block and a half off the main strip. Never would think that was here. There, it was kind of 70s stuff, choppers, custom vans, shag carpeting. Place was, it's packed. Like, man, there's a lot of people. It gives me anxiety thinking that many people in my shop. His back fab corner is like the coolest place ever. It's got the coolest vibe. It's a fab table. English wheel mount on a wall, the biggest Polmax I think I've ever seen. Power hammer, builds a lot of cool bikes and metal shaping and stuff. So that was really cool. I always like going over there. And of course, I do some stuff with the Hemmings people, so got to support the people that support you.
Yep.
Is it on the Facebook?
There's not a lot on the Facebook.
Yeah.
The book of
and I'm going to feel really bad because I know whoever won it, and I feel really bad.
He'll think about it in the middle of the night, and we were not going to redo this. So anyway, so now that leads us to Thursday morning. And originally, Tim was going to fly home on Thursday. And then he got, we obviously, as y'all know, have been dealing with a sick cat. So he was going to come home and take care of Turbo. And got a phone call about, a week before SEMA saying, hey, you going to host the Roadster Shop party for us again? Mm-hmm. So had to change his flight, make some last minute changes. But Tim stayed on Thursday. What did you do during the day on Thursday? Did you have any meetings?
I had my Royal Purple meeting that morning. And then started getting the panic attack like I usually do. Oh my God, I'm leaving on Friday. I got to see whatever I got to see. So I think I went up to the tool area on that afternoon and walked through up there, tool and paint stuff. Talked to a couple other people about being on the podcast. Got a great lineup coming soon. And Thursday night, what did we do Thursday?
Well, Thursday afternoon. So Thursday morning, we ran our second half of our Peak Performance Challenge, reverse order. So the first day we started with Group 4, went 3, 2, 1. On Thursday morning, we started with Group 1. I don't even remember which they are, GTV maybe, and went 1, 2, 3, 4. So we ran those guys till noon, and then I got to do my ride along on Thursday afternoon.
That's right.
So I rode, Sherry and I rode with Tanner in the drift taxi, and I was so angry because I thought, I'm not going to have my phone out because I'm probably going to drop it or hit myself in the face with it. And it is so smooth riding with Tanner.
I did hit my head on a roll bar.
It's not violent.
Because I was looking around filming, so I cracked my head.
So I'm like, we get taken off, and I'm like, oh, I can hold my phone. So I get my phone up, and I'm videoing. Like, oh, this is cool. I got the crowd, and I got this video. I get done. I took a picture. I was not videoing. Yeah, I was mad because I was like, this is going to be an awesome video. It's going to be so cool. I'm going to put it on YouTube. I'm going to become famous.
I got a good video. It's on my Instagram.
No, it was bad. So Sherry and I got to do our ride along on Thursday. So that was awesome. Thank you, Tanner. And then Thursday night.
You worked late again.
Oh, no, I did not. We went out to dinner. So I did not work late. We got done early. We went back to the hotel because this is the roaster shop night. So we went back to the hotel, changed our clothes, took off like branded clothing, went out to dinner. An undisclosed location that we don't tell everybody about because we don't want to kill the new pepper mill.
Yeah.
Great place. Absolutely love it. I ate there
normal
twice.
food, normal priced food.
Yeah, great restaurant. So off the strip.
So then we go to the roaster shop party.
So then,
you drive me. You said I'm not staying because it lasts till like after 1 o'clock. So if you've never been to the roaster shop party, they hire Uncensored Tim. It's at a nightclub that like the awards start at almost 10:45.
Yeah. The party doesn't even start till 9, which
that's like bedtime.
Way past my bedtime.
That's like bedtime.
Way past.
So it's free liquor. I don't drink. They cap it at 1,000 people. It's at a nightclub in Las Vegas. It gets a little crazy.
And we got there. You had to be there at 8:15
to go over stuff.
And there
with
was
the boys.
a line of people there already at 8:15. They didn't open the doors till 9.
Right. Yeah. The
It's
place is packed. They had 100 and some people on the wait list. I think 1,000 people is what they say it takes. It's a big deal. I mean,
it's cool. It's a super cool party.
So
it's at the
I roast people area at the Jewel nightclub.
Okay.
So it turns into a roast. If you get roasted by me, that means I love you, and I know you got a good sense of humor.
You love Courtney?
Courtney's great. I love Courtney Hansen. She's always like, you can mess with me. So I messed with Courtney. Usually mess with the Kindig guys and call out some people about cars and stuff like that.
What people don't realize is they think that Tim's being rude and he's picking on them. He is. All of these people are in the light and they love the attention.
And I know these people. Like when I mess with Kindig guys, they got a great sense of humor. They can dish it out. I'm just throwing at the microphone. Courtney, the Ring brothers, Peggy Ring, I gave her a really hard time.
She was drunk. She probably doesn't remember it.
And I warned her a couple days before, and she goes, "Bring it on, MFer."
Yeah.
And, so
the F-bomb gets dropped a lot. Like, I don't get offended easily, and the older I get...
You could watch, they did a video, and I shared it on my Instagram. I'm not the only one talking like that.
No, like, that was the thing, is when they came out and they were, like, going over the instructions, they were just like, F, 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 and I'm like, God, my ears, like, I can't handle
Very
this.
slowly losing her sense of humor.
I don't. My stepdad.
So I get on, I do an intro. They did the national anthem. They did a great thing, America, all that. Got everybody wound up. Let them know what type of party you're at. Let them know the liquor's free. And then it's just music and people dancing for like an hour and a half. And then we come on and do the stuff. And I get on and I roast some more people. And then the boys come up. Phil and Jeremy Gerber and Josh Henning come up. And they talk a little bit. And then right before they came on the stage, we got a chair put on the stage. I asked this person ahead of time, and he's like, "Yep, I'm in, man." So we get Josh.
So for the record, it started at 9. At 10 o'clock, Carrie slips out the back door.
If not before.
I was there till 10 because I just seen Randy, and I gave him a hug, and I'm like, I almost
So before
missed
all the
you.
awards and the big roasting, Carrie left.
Yeah. I can't do it.
But this person says, "Yeah, but I want Josh." And so we get a chair on the stage. I go, "We need Josh." And Josh was like, "I ain't getting on the stage. I'm not." He was thinking we were going to make him get a lap dance or something. And he comes, I go, "Trust me." And after roasting everybody and roasted him about, his new muscles. But the Ring brothers are roasting him. It was like,
his kid's shirt that he was wearing.
Yeah, because his shirt's 3 sizes too small, and sort of Jeremy's pants and stuff like that. And Phil's just dressed normal, and he's just loving it. We're picking on them. But I told Josh, he got on stage, and he goes, "I'm not doing this because pictures will get out." And I go, it's totally not what you think. So the year before, I said that we had Hollywood famous people. We had Kim Kardashian in the crowd, or as we call her in the hot rod world, our hot rod version is Courtney Hansen. Some people thought that would piss her off. She loved it. When she messages me, she signs it KK for the last year. So again, she's got a great sense of humor. And so Ian Johnson, the Extreme 4x4, now he does Build for Off-Road, the hair guy. When I worked with him in the studio, he does a great Chris Farley, you're going to live in a van down by the river. So I was like, will you do that tonight? He goes, yes, and I want Josh. So I told Josh, sit down, try to trust me. It is totally not what you think. So then I call up and I go, we've even got, Hollywood people again, reincarnated Chris Farley. We have the four-wheel drive king himself, Ian Johnson. And he gets on there and makes up this little thing about Josh and putting it into his own words about Camaros and stuff and living in a van down by the river.
And pretty much that whole thing that he did got in their video.
Yeah, and it's great.
Yeah,
it is great. Yeah, Ian's a lot of fun.
Yep.
So we do that, and then so they give it's called the Best on RS Roadster Shop Party. So they give an award, Best Not on RS. They give an award for the best car that they think that it's not on one of their chassis. So sharing the love a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I guess they had it predetermined that it was the Kindig car, the Vet, that won the Riddler. I mean, it's the most incredible car that's been out in the last few years. Mm-hmm. Hands down. It's absolutely incredible. So they had a second ring of a debuted car type of thing. And it went to Angelo Vespi and the Dutch boys with the Twin Turbo Grand National that won the HRAA award that I can remember.
Camera's still up there.
Yeah. So, and so it was very cool. Big gold rings. They were way too big.
Somebody dropped theirs.
Dave Kindig drops his, and it stayed together. It didn't shatter the bedazzles. But he gets the whole the crew that was there, and Will. I've known Will and Kev and Dave for a long time. Gets them up. It's a really nice speech. Yeah, there was some cuss words and stuff, but these guys have been working together for 25 years. Will's been there since the beginning. I've known Dave long enough. I've been in business 5 years longer than Dave. He was my guy that I called. He worked, and I learned that Kev Dog did too, worked at HPC Coatings in Salt Lake City. Oh. So Dave was my guy that I called and said my HPC Coatings to. Mm-hmm. But, it was very cool. Dave's very respectful of his crew. He knows that they do, you couldn't do it without them.
Right.
And great, talented crew. And then the guys from Dutch Boys come up, and Angelo. And when we're doing the awards, now I have Sean Davis from the Autotopia, huge YouTube channel and social media.
Oh, I didn't realize that's who that was.
Yeah, good guy. He's just a little bit more reserved. He's got a really great radio voice, and just good guy. Great social media, Autotopia, check him out. So I'm kind of saying the finalists, and then he gives the awards and then does a quick little interview. Then I jump in a little bit too. And he was talking to those guys, and they're on the stage. Again, people have some liquor in there, so they're getting a little loose.
Because it's like 11:30.
It's like 11:30 now. Yeah. And he's like, man, that thing's got a lot of money in it. So Angelo whispered in his ear, and he goes, can I say that on the microphone? And he goes, yep. Car has $1.2 million in a Buick Grand National LS twin turbo car. I mean, it is incredible. But that's the type of stuff that you're looking at some of these events that you go to. $1.2 million. And Angelo is a great dude. He had a car that
Tim is up for adoption.
I told him on the microphone, I was up for adoption. I'll call him Daddy. He can even spank me when I was bad. He did not take me up on it.
No.
But he won with a Detroit Speed car, a 69 Camaro satin white, that won the very first, I believe, Battle of the Builders.
Okay.
And he's had Truck of the Year finalists. We've sold him parts for stuff. And,
I do remember.
Angelo's a great guy. During this build, Angelo went through serious cancer. So far is clean, and he's skinny, bald, and looks great. And Angelo's just a good guy. I've known Angelo for a long time, going to shows and stuff. He's just a good guy. And but not many people's going to stand in front of a crowd when video cameras are rolling. The Blazing Rides guys or something like that. They have a new TV show that's on the Roku channel. Mm-hmm. They were there filming that night too. So with all these cameras and stuff, to stand up there and tell everybody, and then they're like, sorry, your wife's going to find out eventually. So yeah. And then they go in to the Best on RS award. So there was 37 people that got an invite. Hey, you're one of the cars we're considering. So then people come, they get a reserve table. And
which I have to say, if anybody's listening from the roaster shop, you number your tables. These people come in.
they can't remember a number.
And they can't remember the number, and they're half drunk.
Yeah, they're drunk
So,
when they get there.
I seen Angie Johnson make 3 laps looking for her table.
And Angie wasn't drunk.
So, no. So, you might just want to put their name on it next time. It'd make it a lot easier for them.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But they were having fun that night. It's the first time they'd been there.
Yeah.
So they ended up with one of them. They get 5 finalists to get on stage, a quick interview. They get these big Flavor Flav gold things that Advanced Plating has plated, big chains and big, heavy necklace thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so the 5 finalists was, let's see if I can do this, man. Johnson's Hot Rod Shop in their Safari wagon, a 4-wheel drive Blazer from Hogan Built. The Ring Brothers in their pink car that's infected on the plates, and instead of being a red eye motor, it says pink eye on it. Yep. So that was my joke to Peggy, that she gave me a lap dance the year before, and I woke up with pink eye, and I had this little joke roast planned already, and it just made it so perfect that it said pink eye on when I seen it on the setup day. So that. Oh, the Classic Car Studio, the green Mopar that won Street Machine of the Year, or Good Guys, and the Street Machine of the Year at Triple Crown.
Yep.
Man, who was the 5th one?
I don't know, buddy.
I should have took notes.
I was sawing some serious logs. Anywho, while he's looking that up, there were some people that got offended. Allegedly. That thought Tim was not being very nice.
But they'd never been there before.
It's a roast. Do you even know what that is? Actually, looking kind of forward to going to the event this weekend and seeing what dress they're wearing.
Oh, the 57 Chevy that was also a Sloniker contender. 57 Chevy Bel Air convertible.
Oh, yeah.
That Marcos Garcia at Lucky 7 built for Cliff Mattis. Sorry, I should have remembered that. And they got all the finalists on their social media, and a handful of the ones that were close. And
they have it on there.
I'm not going to say who it was, but at the end, when I made this little thing about the Dutch boys are such great guys. About no egos. When I tried the new paint line, they were using the same paint line, and they helped me with stuff. I mean, they're just no egos. They're just great guys. There's a bunch of these people in the industry that are like that, trying just better for the industry. And I said that, how good they were, and there's no place for egos in the hot rod world. Man, as soon as I get off the stage, I'm walking back to get another water. And there's one guy that did not get one of the 5s. It's won a lot of awards, but he's bitched at more than one event because when he didn't win what he thought he would. And I looked at the other guy like, is this guy kidding? And he's looking at me like, please get me away from this guy. And I was like, well, yeah, obviously, in my mind, I was thinking, oh, he didn't listen to my no ego story.
Okay, and again, does he realize that you're just the guy with the microphone that is doing
I told him, I go, dude, I'm not the judge.
Nothing to do with any of the judging.
Yeah, but I wasn't the only one. He did go up to the Roaster Shop boys and chew their ass out, too.
That's how you get places in this world.
He also did that
people's ass.
at the Triple Crown when he did. Yeah, so that's not good for your longevity.
No.
And this guy doesn't need to be that way. He's a nice guy when I talk to him. They build, I'm not going to say who they are, what cars they've built, incredible cars. Like, I'm a fan of his cars. I just kind of got to know him this year and realized that I'll probably never go to dinner with him.
Anyway.
But, then it's over at 1:15 or something, and I have to stay till the end. And
yeah, it was after 2. I think I don't remember you coming back to the room. Anyway.
Yeah, I was beat.
So, Friday is pack-up day, and Tim's going home. So he can come back and take care of Turbo. So I did pack up my luggage. And
Turbo's looking at us over there and says, you realize it's past our bedtime. Why are you guys still talking?
So
this is our second podcast.
This is our second podcast tonight. But we're getting a little behind with SEMA and getting home and being tired and Christmas decorating.
So I went in Friday morning and seen a couple other people.
What did we do Friday? Oh, we split our crew. So half of our team had to go out to the track. and get ready for Saturday, and the other half of us stayed at SEMA and handled the kind of prep for teardown and the prep for half of our cars. 30 of our cars moved out Friday morning because we had to again shorten the course because they were getting ready for SEMA Fest, which was going to be back at the other end again that Friday night. So
so they had the SEMA Fest with how many bands they have there? Like 4 or 5. Okay.
4 bands on Friday night.
And Sublime was one. I would have liked to seen Sublime.
Yep. I don't know.
But like big, like a variety of music stuff.
Yeah.
But
we had drifting exhibition going on during the same thing each time, except the first 3, not the last one. Change out. We had a drifting exhibition going on in between, and we had Megasaurus. So I don't know if you've ever seen Megasaurus before, but he breathes fire. So that was super cool. Mm. So they were drifting around Megasaurus and the fire, and it was neat. It was super cool. So we did that on Friday night, and then our competitors, they got to pull out at 4:00 and do their road rally. So in the morning, the 30 cars that had to leave SEMA early because we didn't have room for them because of the moving of the wall, the K wall, and having to adjust for SEMA Fest, those guys 30 of them had to leave Friday morning. And so they did their road rally that morning, had to go to Advance.
So people don't know this. I always think this is cool. Explain the road rally.
So the road rally, so Ultimate Streetcar is about street cars and it's about driving. So it's the drivability. Like you have to drive, we do a road rally, you have to drive out on the street. We put your driver's license in an envelope, seal it.
That's the part that I think is cool.
So if you get pulled over by the Popo, they're going to want to see your driver's license. You're not going to get your points for your road rally if you get pulled over by the Popo.
So it's kind of trying to keep people to not drive like idiots.
Yeah. So we do the road rally.
And you've got this big door sticker on. Like, hey, look at me. I'm
with a number.
With it says fastest streetcar on the side.
Exactly. So. Like they're looking for you. So then at 4:00, all the rest of our competitors got to leave. They went straight to the track because they got to deal with the 5:00 traffic, 4:00 end of day traffic.
It's a good test on cooling systems and everything.
It is because these are street cars. So then they have to go in and check in out at the track. KK went out there and checked them in. This is the first year I didn't have to do it. Yay me. So we stayed. I think it was myself and Betsy and Adam. We stayed and handled the exhibition stuff at the racetrack or at SEMA and SEMA Fest. We got done at 9:00 because we didn't. I don't remember who the last band was, but we didn't have the exhibition in between the last 2. So we closed everything up on Friday night, packed up one of our rigs, Megatron, the one with the big screen on it. It went out to the track. Our ops trailer, all of our other stuff went out to the track to get ready for Saturday. Tim flies home. So he left the SEMA show at, 1:00 probably.
Yeah.
To the airport to come home. And then
had a little bit of SEMA funk starting.
Yeah.
A little sniffles
you were getting
going
sniffles.
on, and my lips were falling apart because I hate chapstick, and I would die in the desert in 3 weeks.
Yeah, it was
so I got home. I pretty much hung out with the cats all day. Didn't do much on Saturday. You're exhausted from SEMA.
Yep. So then we had our big competition day at Las Vegas Motor Speedway on Saturday. SEMA is now over. But one of the things that we did not touch on is on Friday, SEMA is open to the general public. So you have to buy a ticket to get in, to get a badge, but they do open it to the general public.
And it really, a lot of the vendors, they're not a fan of it. But, I mean, they even promoted I heard on a radio station commercial, but it's not, I mean, there's people there, but it's not like, oh my God, you can't walk through the place. There's not as many local, I'm just going to buy a ticket for Friday that you would think. I mean, there are different colored badge, so there is, but it's not, I mean, there's a good amount of people, and you would think, I'm kind of okay with it, but I don't run a booth. They're still car enthusiast people.
Yeah, getting people into our industry is important, and keeping people into our industry. I did talk to somebody today that has a different opinion than you, and they didn't like it. They were were
they working in a booth?
No, they were not. They were an attendee, and they said there was, and this part I don't understand because SEMA is for You have to be 18 to get into SEMA. But
they
on
don't
Friday,
police that as bad.
On Friday, there's strollers and and that's a zoo. And they said it was like next to impossible to get through the aisles.
Okay.
There was people opening car doors and like a new product, an auto show.
And these people had a car on display.
Yes.
So yeah, I can see their point.
They had a different opinion on that whole situation and how that went. But anyway, so SEMA's over. We were told that they were not doing a SEMA parade by our SEMA guy a week before the event. Guess what? They did a SEMA parade. I don't know how it went. Our people didn't have to participate in it, so God bless. Yes, what do you want? Turbo is trying to talk. So then Saturday is our bonus day. So we go out to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Our gates are ran by the folks at Westcare. So it's a donation. It's Thanksgiving coming up. There's, it's getting cold. We work with Westcare at Nevada on a lot of different events that we run out there. They have a women's shelter. They have a veteran shelter. They have a drug rehabilitation shelter. They've got a couple other shelters, which we got hooked up with them a couple years ago from our good friend Brick Casper that runs Dan's Driveline. They're actually across the street from the women's shelter. Great organization. If you ever had the opportunity to make a donation to them, I highly recommend it. They are actually all across the United States.
So you get a box truck and people.
They bring out
they bring out
their own trucks and they just basically work our gate for us. And it's a donation. To get in, you have to make a donation, some sort of donation to Westcare. And then this year we did our autocross and our road course on Saturday. So we ran it. This was a lot of work for Mike and Eric and Jimmy to come up with, the best way to do this with the limited space that we had. I thought it was pretty cool. So what they did is they went out on their orientation laps. And after they do the road course laps, they come back and go right into grid and then have to run a autocross lap. So it wasn't like you ran road course and then you went over here and you ran autocross. You literally came from the road course straight to grid and did your lap on autocross and then went back to your pits. Because we just didn't have two different grid areas. We just were limited with running the road course and autocross on one day. So I thought it was cool. I'm not sure what the participants thought of it. Nobody complained to me, which normally I'm the one that gets a lot of complaining if people want to complain because I like to listen.
Well, you don't listen to me.
No, I don't. But I do listen to our Ultimate Streetcar members. So if anybody wants to complain, call me. I'll listen. I won't give you any advice, but I'll at least listen to you as long as your membership is current.
People, when I tell them how many hours you put in, you guys worked harder this year than last year. Amount of time you were there, you put in over 100 hours.
I keep track of my hours. I haven't even looked. I haven't even added them up this year.
And then you come home Sunday?
Saturday night, we do, so we run Ultimate Streetcar, we run a road course and autocross, and then we finish it with our group photo, which I'm super excited about. Photo turned out really good this year, and I have a great plans.
And doing that is like trying to herd cats.
You know what? It went really well this year. Yeah. I don't know what the deal was. I never even heard Optima Jim yell at anybody other than to get him out of the picture or back in the picture. He did yell at somebody about being on their phone. In a driver's meeting at Ultimate Streetcar, you cannot be on your phone. It's serious. People could die racing your car, so you got to be serious. You got to pay attention. No phones. But anyway, we did our group picture. That went really, really smooth. So we were done a little bit early. So we kind of moved the awards up, which never happens. We are always on time for everything we do. But we moved things up a little bit to get people on the road. Bob Sobey won. He on the overall as the Ultimate Streetcar 3-time winner.
What's he drive?
The only other he drives the
GTR, isn't it?
I think so.
I think it's a GTR.
Yeah. So 3-time winner. Only other person that's done 3 times is Danny Pop. So let's see. Maybe Danny's gonna have to come back next year.
Twait's only got 2.
Did he get 2? No, I don't think he got 2.
Just 1?
1.
I thought he got at least 2.
I don't think so. I don't know. Don't quiz me on this stuff. It's 11 o'clock at night when we're recording this. But yeah, so maybe Danny's gonna have to come back next year and try to stop Sobe. Otherwise, Sobe gets a 4, you know, or somebody else. You know, it was close. There was some great competition. You know, we do the classes as well. I'm not even gonna try to say who won the classes because it's 11 o'clock at night and I'm tired and I don't know.
I think I've seen what's his name won the Blazer.
Yeah, Hondo won the
yeah.
truck class. Schmitty won his class.
Yeah.
And again,
I'm gonna
forget people. But then we did a little celebration, and Betsy grabbed the microphone, and we all sang "Happy Birthday to Jimmy." He's just celebrating his
Betsy sings
60th birthday. Yes, Betsy's a good singer.
Is she really?
She's a really good singer.
I did not know that.
I have a video of it. I should show it to you.
Okay.
Not of this, but from Power Tour. So then I ordered tacos, and we had tacos delivered for our staff as we tore down and got everything packed up and back on the road. And I think I was back in my hotel room by 8.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I don't know what I was thinking, but I had a late flight out on Sunday, so I got to sleep in and get a little rest before heading back home.
Picked you up about midnight.
Yeah, it was a late one getting in. But yeah, so that's a wrap for SEMA 2024. I do have to say SEMA, we've been going to SEMA for 20 some years now, and really looking forward to PRI. PRI is my favorite. So
you don't have to really work that. I mean, you do some work stuff.
I've got some things going on this year.
They always have some great seminars and stuff.
I'm super excited. There's some really good seminars on Friday. I plan on doing 3 seminars at PRI this year.
So we're just getting ready to go a couple days.
Yep.
We're going out to Scottsdale for the ending one, the big one in the fall there at Scottsdale for the good guys, where they have all the terrific 12 winners on display in front of the building on little display things and their toolboxes. And we do, I don't know what they're calling it this year. I should probably figure that out since I'm announcing it. But there's so much going on the autocross course that me and Thisted, only 2 events, this and Columbus, he showed up for, that we do together. We do other events together, but good guys, there's just so much stuff going on. As Axel is mad that Turbo's up here in front of the camera. Yeah. And so that'll be a great, swap meet's always good there. Go out for the last event.
Weather's looking good. I might be sitting by the pool.
So big news in the last couple of days. Motor Trend production is closing its doors, shutting down.
So before you get started in this, I have to say, I thought it was pretty cool. I seen Freiberger's live thing today, and it was like almost a slap in the face when he said it, but it was like pretty cool. He's like, "We lasted longer than Friends."
Yeah, I
thought that was kind of cool.
13 years Roadkill's been filming.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And he says, not as long as The Simpsons.
Yeah.
But,
but when you think about it in like TV world.
Oh, because TV world, it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't last.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I did mine for 2.
I mean, how many episodes? There's only 3 seasons or 5 seasons of Yellowstone. And how big is that?
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
So the fact that they lasted longer than Friends, come on, people. Anyway, go ahead. Cool. Sorry.
But a lot of people, our good friend Ian Johnson on social media, he does a lot of stuff on Instagram. He does a great explanation. Alex Taylor did an explanation. Freiberger did. So the TV world, the TV channel is not going away as we sit today. It's not going away. What they're closing down is the Motor Trend production studio and building. Or Hot Rod Garage, where Lucky and Alex's show was done. There was a few other shows done there. That's the production company that did Roadkill, which if you kind of pay attention, the Roadkill guys have been really pushing their YouTube really hard for the last handful of months. They just hadn't announced it yet that they weren't doing it anymore. But then again, after 13 years, maybe those guys were tired of doing that. I mean, that's a possibility. I know both those guys. I don't know them that well. But I've known both of them for a long time.
Most marriages don't even last 13 years anymore.
No, we've been like double that. More than. Anyway, now you lost my train of thought. You depressed me.
Sorry.
But Ian does a really good. He goes, Ian's show is starting another season. A lot of these people already have shows in the can, as they say. The Newberg New Bern and Cotton Show has new episodes coming out.
Hot Rod Garage does.
I know they got working on something. Cotton told me something else. It could be even bigger than what they were doing. A lot of these people we're friends with. We know them from both Power Tour, Carrie working, and they show up. A lot of these people I've known for a long time. Freiberger shot our Riviera in 2001 and wrote the article when he was working his way up in the hot rod world. Finnegan, I met at the Street Machine Nationals probably right out of high school through Cotton. They've been buddies that long, and we know a lot of these other people.
But people don't like change.
Yeah, but there's still new shows coming out.
Yeah.
The channel, as we sit today, is not going anywhere. So, like Ian Johnson's Motor Trend Production does not film his stuff.
Right.
And some of these other shows don't film. So that it's really hard. There's 5 shows that are ending because they were filmed by that Motor Trend production company. So I think there's some more changes and more news coming out in the future. Some we've heard some rumors of that we can't really say. But it's not all going away.
Yeah, and I'm sure that things have to change. Like, you can't do the same thing over and over again and be successful.
And all these people, that if the 5 people, most all of them have a huge YouTube channel with content going on all the time. So
yeah, and you never know. It's opening up new doors for them as well.
More people watch YouTube anymore than they do the TV, I think. So.
Exactly. So, get them out to some different events, maybe. Get them out to different, it's opening doors. Like, that's all it is. It's opening doors. And those of you that are throwing a tantrum about it, gotta adjust.
But, I get it. I got a really good friend that he loves the roadkill shows. Was like shaking like a little kid when I introduced them to him at an event. But everybody has their favorite shows. And those shows being on TV, kids are easier to... I mean, kids go on YouTube all the time, too. But we still need the automotive program. Some of them I'm not a fan of. All
no
the
different
Motor
than
Trend ones were good.
Yellowstone. So the other night when they killed off Kevin, I was in tears.
She was.
I was bawling my eyes out. So you get I get it. You get adjusted. And
there was people like on TikTok and stuff. There was grown men crying when they announced that. Yes,
yeah,
I guarantee
you get like their family, because you watch them and they're like, they come into your home.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I get it. Yeah.
But thank you for all the years of all the great Motor Trend production shows. Again, 13 years for Roadkill.
Looking forward to what's coming next.
Even though we don't watch a lot of
automotive TV anyway, so it's not affecting us one bit.
Which, speaking of drag racing, it was great at Nashville. At Las Vegas, that was the first event that John Force was back in public after his accident. He was again at Pomona this last weekend. But I got a hat signed.
Speaking of which,
I got a hat signed by John Force.
That was cool. But did you guys see the Pomona plane crash?
Yeah.
Mind blowing.
Pushed off the start of the finals for Sunday.
Like, as an events person running events, the stuff that happens behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know about.
It's stuff like that.
It is.
Yeah.
Like, literally planes crashing in your show. Like, guns getting pulled. Like, stupid stuff.
A small airplane crashed, like, almost landed on the drag strip. But probably less than a mile, maybe less, probably half a mile. There is a airport that I've been to breakfast at.
Yeah.
So that airplane... Okay, I'm having trouble, was trying to get back to the airport.
Or
it was that direction.
But also, drag strips are emergency landing places.
And there was no cars running at the times before they started, so... But they weren't going the direction of the drag strip.
It did kind of freak me out a little bit, though, because, like, we just did Hot Rod Power Tour there, and, like, that could have been one of our events. Yeah. Like, it's crazy.
It can happen anywhere, especially right next to a small airport.
So, anyway, all right, we have talked long enough. We're going to wrap this up.
For those that aren't watching, Turbo is laying on the table.
Yep, that would be Turbo, and Axel is laying down here. We've had a full night of cat puke.
Chasing flies. The healthy one was puking earlier.
Yep.
He's like, what?
So,
don't tell anybody.
We are getting the house decorated for Christmas. And how many trees do we have, Tim?
I think probably, unless they're not all up yet, but I think, because I noticed a couple, I think you might be 15 trees.
So Tim collects Hot Wheels magazines, car parts, memorabilia. Carrie collects Christmas trees.
I'm kind of a ball humbug because I grew up on a Christmas tree farm.
See, I think that's why I like them so much. I did move.
Because you would come in and see me loading the trees and tying down your mom's tree wrong and it poked her eye almost out.
Yeah, my mom almost lost her eyeball because of you.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to wrap this up. Have a good night. Thanks for listening. See you next week. The Strange Motion Way podcast, brought to you by Royal Purple Synthetic Oils.
Royal Purple premium synthetic motor oils and high-performance chemicals have been designed to improve performance in all conditions and provide cleaner operation, better mileage, and decreased oil change frequency. That means less oil changes. With products available for your gasoline and diesel engines, Royal Purple is the obvious choice for your performance needs. Drive with Royal Purple, the synthetic expert.